Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I got a new project here in the garage today that I want to share with you guys. I'm pretty excited about it. I know you guys are going to be excited about it as well. This is my friend Brandon Markeith's car that he has had in the works for the past couple of years. A lot of work has been done on it. I'm kind of doing some of the finishing touches. So I'm going to show it to you guys, kind of go around, talk about what I know about the car, and then what we're going to do to it. So let's go ahead and get started. This is like an 03 or an 04 Mustang GT. I'm not sure exactly what year. I'd have to ask Brandon, but it is a 2-valve car. It has my old rods in it from my first build. The old MMR I-beam rods. I sold these to Brandon a couple years ago. He's put them in the engine. I'm not sure what crank it has. It's kind of your it's kind of your standard iron block deal. I'm not sure if the heads are ported. I'm not sure what cams it has. He does have the Ricard Racing intake, which is extremely rare. You can't find those anymore. I told him whenever I picked the car up that he may end up with an Edelbrock intake. It's got a Vortech V1 on it. I'm not sure what trim, but it's not a very big blower. It's enough to have fun with. A lot of stuff still needs to be done on the car, but the main reason that I have it right now is going to install a Holley Terminator X on it. Car is pretty clean. It's in good shape. It's got the dark interior in it. Hopefully you guys can see decent in here. Yeah, we can see okay. Really clean interior. Missing a couple interior pieces, which are in the boxes that I just pulled out of it. Some nice seats in it, and it is a 5-speed car, 3650. Still got the dash and stuff, or the center console here ripped out of it. Looks like it's got some Mach 1 rear seats. Overall, the interior is pretty nice on it. Had a nitrous bottle sitting in the back. I don't know what he wants to do with that, but it's pretty cool. I got to put the battery relocation kit in it. It's just kind of sitting back here. So I'm about to do that. I think it needs a fuel pump. Gonna have to go to a return style fuel system for the Holley. A lot of different parts sitting around that I got to go through. But here is the Holley Terminator X. Here's the main harness. So you got go through, show you guys a little bit about these things. So it comes with your sub harnesses here. Like we've got the injector sub harness here. You've got your coil sub harness right here. You've got your main harness. It comes with your wideband sensor, your 2 coil drivers here to run the Ford OEM coils. You've got your ECU main power harness, which gets run directly to the battery. It comes with this nice 3.5-inch Terminator X screen here. And then it also comes with a bung for you to weld in your wideband O2 sensor. So it's a pretty complete kit. Like the only thing you really need to add onto these kits is 2 pressure transducers, 0 to 100 PSI. One is for your oil pressure and one is for your fuel pressure. So we still got to get those. And then we have to go to a return style fuel system because on these cars from the factory they are returnless. A returnless fuel system, and the fuel pressure is regulated by how fast the ECU runs the fuel pump. So basically what I got to do is actually have an old adapter that would go right here that lets you adapt a fuel pressure regulator over here, and then you run a return line off of it back to the tank. And then my plan is to probably put a bulkhead fitting on top of the fuel hat back there, and that'll be for the return. But yeah, definitely got a lot of loose ends to tie up on this thing. It's going to be exciting though. I feel like it's going to be pretty cool to show you guys the process on this car, kind of getting away from my car a little bit because mine is really race oriented. And this is more of a fun street car build, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to. I can't wait to get it running. Obviously it's going to take a little while, but man, I'm really excited. I still am in the like planning process of how I want to mount everything. Like I had the ECU in here, kind of seeing where I could mount it. But the Terminator X ECU is a lot smaller than the Holley HP. It's a lot lighter too because these aren't potted, so they're a little bit cheaper, but they still get the job done. They're really nice. So I don't really know where I want to mount it yet. I was thinking about maybe the glove compartment, or like in my car, I removed the stock ECU down there and I mounted my Holley HP down there, which I may do with this one as well. I'm just not really sure yet. I want the install to be nice and clean, and I want you to not even be able to tell there's a ECU, Holley ECU in here, except by the screen I'm going to put over there, over the stock dash. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to go through and do all of the installs together. It's going to be pretty cool. Show you guys how simple it is to install this Holley Terminator X. Alright, so after a lot of deliberation, I finally figured out where I wanted to put the Terminator X ECU. So I always like to take the seats out for extra room to work, lay down right here, lean over the dash. And then I also got the lower back seat out right now. I'll show you guys where I mounted the ECU at. So I decided to remove the stock ECU because it's not going to be used anymore. And then I just mounted the Terminator ECU up in here with some Allen head bolts mounted right there. So it's nice and sturdy. It's not gonna go anywhere. And it's hidden up in there. Once I put this kick panel back on, when I'm all done wiring everything up, you won't even know it's there. And sorry guys, the lighting in here is rough. This is the main power for the ECU, and so this plugs into the ECU, and then you run it back and it connects directly to the battery and directly to the battery only. Red to the positive terminal and black to the negative terminal. So that's what I gotta do next. I gotta hook this up to the ECU, pull this carpet up. I'm gonna run it along the edge right here, through here and up back into the back, so it's ready to connect whenever I get the battery relocation kit installed. So that's where I'm at now, guys. Get this done and then move on to the next part. Alright guys, so I got the ECU power cable ran back here. So eventually, whenever that's mounted, this will connect to that in this box here. And then the issue, so I wanted to run the main harness like right here, but the problem is when you have the heater box in these cars, the only way to even get close is to take this heater box out, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that's not happening. So what I decided to do instead was get my 2-inch hole saw out, and I busted a hole, cut away that sound deadening right there, and then I cut a 2-inch hole right there in the trans tunnel, which is really close to the top part of the firewall right here. So I'm waiting on a grommet now. I'm not going to be able to finish up and run the harness through. I'm probably going to put the harness in here anyways to go ahead and get everything else figured out, but I got to wait for that grommet to have the harness ran through the firewall and up to the motor for good. But I mean, it looks a little rough right now, but it'll clean up, especially once I put the grommet on there, and that'll protect the harness from scraping on those edges, and I'll deburr those edges as well so they're not sharp anymore. I'll get the trim line and do that. But that kind of gives you an idea of what you can do to get away with not having to pull this out. And honestly, that's just as clean, if not cleaner, because you're not even going to see the harness from the you're not going to see where the harness is coming from the engine bay, because it's going to be back down in here. You can see it down in there where I cut the hole. So that'll come up, and then I'll run everything underneath the intake right here. I'll connect all the harnesses, and it'll be nice and hidden, and it'll look nice and clean. So I've got the main harness laid out in the car. It's connected to the ECU up here. See J1 and J2 connected, and then I took some hose clamps and clamped the harness up right here below the glove box, and then the rest of it's just laying out over here because I can't run it through that hole yet. One thing I did want to show you guys is I already unraveled these wires, but whenever you get this harness, there's going to be a green wire, a solid red wire, a white and blue wire, and then a white and red wire. The white and blue wire is for a tack signal, so that's like if you're using an autometer aftermarket tack or something, you could hook it into that. This red and white wire right here is the trigger wire to trigger the ECU. So one thing that's important about this wire is it has to be hooked to a 12-volt power source that stays on while the car is trying to start. So while you're spinning the starter, there has to be 12 volts going to it. And pro tip, there is a wire, couple of wires in the stock ECU harness over there that's keep 12 volts while you're cranking. I just have to find which one it is and hook this up to it. And then the green and the solid red wire is to run your 40 amp relay, power your ignition, and then the green wire is to power a fuel pump. But usually what I do is I run this to a relay in the back and then power the fuel pump through the relay. If you're running a fuel pump that requires more than 15 amps, you have to use a relay back there instead of powering the fuel pump with this wire. And then what I do is I just ran both of these down, and they're running back. They're running back with the other main power harness, and they'll go back to the back of the car. So that is about where I'm going to stop for today. I may mount the dash over here. Not sure yet, but I'm going to go ahead and call this video a wrap. We'll call this one part 1. I still got a whole lot to do, but I've gotten a little bit farther today. Stay tuned. As soon as that grommet comes in, guys, I'll be finishing up this install, and then we got to go. I got to talk to Brandon about what we're going to do about all the rest of the stuff in the car. Got a lot of work to do on this thing. So I hope you guys got some out of this video. I know it's kind of boring, but I wanted to show you guys kind of like the in-depth part of installing one of these Holley Terminators on a 2-valve car. So if you guys enjoyed the video, I'll see you on the next one.